the dangers of law enforcement. And I know how hard it is to keep your name off of this memorial.
Whether it be a fire, a natural disaster, a traffic accident, or an act of criminal violence, police officers and firefighters stand between our public and imminent harm to provide support and safety.
I hope our family members who are here today recognize that we will always remember those that have fallen. The Fresno Fire family will never forget.
We salute you.
The memorial has been in development since early 2020. It was approved by the City Council last year in a unanimous vote. Well, the victim of a Halloween Day homicide in Visalia has been identified as 51-year-old Renee Poblano. Officers were called to the 1800 block of Incia Street near Oval Park after a report of a shooting. They found Poblano with gunshot wounds to the upper torso. He later died of his wounds. There's no word yet on a suspect in that shooting. PG&E crews in Fresno are continuing to work on restoring power after transformer fires because of rain. This is a video from the area of McKinley Avenue in Thesta near San Joaquin Memorial High School. There, Fresno power outages happened there and all over the city Tuesday evening. Some customers still without power right now. PG&E says it will not be restored until 5 p.m. Now, we haven't had rain in a while before yesterday, so those transformers were coated with dust. The rain turns it into mud, and that can damage the electrical equipment. Fresno police say a power outage was a factor in a crash that sent a car into the front yard of a home at Chestnut and Tulare Avenue. It happened just before 9 Tuesday night. Police say the stoplights at the intersection were not working due to a power outage. Two cars collided at the intersection. Two people in the car that was in the yard were taken to the hospital. There is no word on their condition. The Federal Reserve is expected to announce another interest rate hike today as the board tries to tamp down decades-high inflation. Tom Costello has a look at what that means for just about everyone.
Whether it's a charge on your credit card or a big-ticket purchase, borrowing money in America is likely to get even more expensive, with the Federal Reserve just hours away now from what would be its sixth interest rate hike this year. But the results of those aggressive actions could still be months away.
Fed interest rate hikes can take 9 months to really fully cycle through the economy. It's going to be into 2023 before the full effect of all these rate hikes starts to take effect on the economy.
The Fed widely expected to increase rates another 0.75 of a point as it tries to tame inflation, still running above 8%, but to do it without pushing the economy into recession. In the final sprint to the midterm elections, President Biden pointing out that in the EU and UK, inflation is running hotter, the economy much harsher.
Inflation is a worldwide problem right now. We've done a lot to try to take it under control.
Even as the price at the pump has come down nationally, auto loans are higher, and according to experts, they're harder to come by.
There's also a higher rejection rate for loans right now, and they're not taking as many long-term loans, and there are higher down payments.
Americans are also facing skyrocketing rates on credit cards and mortgages, both at their highest level in decades.
Weeks turned into months, and then we kept dropping our price and kept dropping it and kept dropping it.
In Anchorage, Tangier Walker and her family are facing a double-edged sword. They recently bought a new home, but have been unable to sell their old house even after lowering the asking price 5 times since July. Now, as an Alaskan winter approaches, they plan to rent it out.
Great location, great schools. It's just some people are just really scared. You know, there's a lot of houses sitting on the market right now.
Now, that was Tom Costello reporting. What he was just talking about just happened just moments ago. The Federal Reserve confirmed it is raising the key interest rate by 0.75 of a point for the 4th straight time. Now, the interesting thing there, though, is that is what analysts expected. That's pretty much what everyone expected. And just by the fact that the interest rate stayed about the same or went up by what was expected, the S&P 500 just shot up about over 40 points within the last 2 minutes. Coming up on Ksee Midday, why today is the day to give to Fresno State.
And we're not done with the rain, not just yet. First, your 40 allergy forecast brought to you by Boz Allergy. Elm and juniper are the top pollens. We're in the low range through Saturday. I'll show you the next round of rain for the valley and snow for the Sierra as Ksee Midday continues.
This is the place I love. There's nowhere better than the place I'm from. Yeah, this is where my world goes round. I've got my logo on. The Central Valley is where I belong. Ksee 24 is where I go. Turn it on and it feels right. Yeah, it feels like home. I've got my logo on.
The big variable, the storm surge. Why was it important for you to be here? What kind of training regimen? How you doing, Lester?
I'm Dr. Roland at Innovative Medical Center. If you've been told that you needed surgery for a bulging or herniated disc, I need you to know there are other options.
Our NDS, or no disc surgery, can help you avoid surgery. It's time to call Innovative Medical Center.
When I was broadsided by that truck, I didn't know where to turn. Thankfully, I found the injury attorneys at BD&J.
BD&J attorneys will be by your side every step of the way. Make the right call. BD&J.
We know Rudy Salas. In Sacramento, we paid him over $1 million, and he skipped over 400 votes. When Rudy did show up, he voted for a new tax on prescription drugs that would have drained money from the most vulnerable. Worse, we pay the highest gas prices in the nation, and Rudy voted to stick us with even higher gas prices. Rudy Salas has failed the Central Valley. Rudy Salas is not for us. NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's a new day, because now updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron, just in time to say, oh, you bet I'll be there. A whole lot more.
Our roof got damaged during Hurricane Ida last August. We answered some questions on Angie. Next thing we knew, we were put in contact with our Angie Pro, and then that weekend they came out and we had a brand new roof.
Get started at Angie.com today. Get local news that matters at the new YourCentralValley.com and your certified accurate forecasts every day. Ksee 24 News is always available at YourCentralValley.com.
Are you sitting at home in pain, letting it affect your quality of life? I'm Dr. Randall Rowland with Innovative Medical Center. Let us help you prevent any unnecessary medications or surgeries with responsible pain management.
Call Innovative Medical Center today.
Ksee 24 News is brought to you in part by Central Floor Supply. Now, forecaster Ruben Contreras with your local weather authority forecast.
Welcome back this midday. Still kind of chilly out there. We're in the 50s for a good portion of the valley, and a number of areas seeing sunshine this midday, but some clouds are going to redevelop and they could still produce a shower, maybe even a thunderstorm this afternoon. And we're still talking about snow this year. This is still the same storm. Basically, there's just a bit of a gap in it, I guess you could say, but we're expecting colder temperatures tomorrow, actually. We're in the 50s now for Fresno, Bakersfield, most of California, actually. 59 in Hanford, 56 for Madera and Visalia. It is much cooler out there compared to this time yesterday. This is the cold air coming in behind the front, so it's dropping our temperatures down compared to 24 hours ago, not only for the valley, but also the foothills. And this year, still a bit of a breeze in some parts of the valley. Winds, for the most part, staying below 10 miles an hour, but at 10-mile-an-hour winds in Visalia, a little bit higher than that on the west side of the valley, especially along Interstate 5. And in this live picture from our Valley Cam, one of our new ones in Tulare at the Tulare Outlets, you see the flags outside the shopping center waving off in the distance this morning, and we have blue skies, but there are those puffy clouds developing. That's a sign that there's cold air on the way, but we still got the spin from the low, so that sunshine is going to heat the lower atmosphere throughout the day, and then when that cold air comes in, it pops up a few thunderstorms. It's just a slight chance, mainly for the North Valley, but keep that in mind for your afternoon plans. And as this colder air drives in, there's still moisture out there, so that's going to drop snow levels down to about 5,000 feet for most of today. But tonight, though, they could dip down to 4,000 feet, not only for us locally, but Southern California, so that's a bit of a concern for the Grapevine. I don't think it's going to be a huge snow event to shut down the highway, but it might make it a little slow going if you're traveling late tonight, early tomorrow morning. For the most part, things are quiet on our radar. Just a few snow flurries up at the highest terrain of the Fresno County Mountains this midday. And Futurecast shows those clouds building throughout the day. And there's the shower and possible thunderstorm activity. This is about 4 o'clock or so. Again, this is just one one suggestion here. Not everybody's going to get rain today. It's going to be hit or miss with that, but the potential is there. And then there's the snow starting to fall as we drop into the evening hours and overnight hours. And it'll probably keep going until tomorrow morning. The rain pretty much wraps up for the valley after sunset for tonight. And then, of course, after we get rain, we got to look out for areas of fog, and that could be an issue in some parts of the valley tomorrow. That winter storm warning is still in effect, and it's actually been extended south into portions of Tulare County until 11 o'clock tonight. stretches north into Yosemite and then into the Lake Tahoe area. If all goes well, the highest terrain of the Sierra could pick up a foot of snow once the system wraps up, but closer to 5,000 feet, probably 3 to 6 inches of snow. Anything we get out of today depends where you're at. Maybe just a few 100s, but if you get a downpour, you could easily pick up another quarter inch of rain. And Futurecast still suggesting at least another maybe 2 to even 3 inches of snow in the Sierra through tomorrow evening. Here's what it looks like right now in Yosemite. Live picture from Yosemite Conservancy's webcam. Well, a few moments ago, you could actually see Half Dome, but if you look closely, there's the backside of Half Dome covered in a little bit of snow this morning. And this is Shaver Lake early on in the morning. I would say probably maybe just like an inch or two of snow that fell overnight into this morning. And these are the views from the webcam early on this morning. And of course, you can see there was snow to cover the patio furniture at some of the restaurants and along the highways and any cars parked there. And some of this is going to stick around if we keep the colder temperatures. This is higher up at Huntington Lake at the ramp right there before you go into the lake here. China Peak is reporting about 4 inches of snow so far, and more is on the way, not only from this storm, but from a storm that's going to come in at the end of the weekend into next week. So good news right there. 7-day forecast shows it looks like we're entering a wet weather pattern. We are going to dry out Friday through Saturday. The weekend will start off nice with sunshine and mild temperatures, but a few showers Sunday afternoon. Rain likely on Monday. We're going to drop into the 50s for highs. We also got that time change this weekend where we fall back 1 hour. Your regional forecast available any time of the day. Just go to yourcentralvalley.com to check it out. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Ruben. To celebrate Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, Valley Animal Center is honoring the memories of pets who have passed on. The center posted photos of pets along with notes from their owners with their favorite memories of their pets. Around 30 of them were honored Tuesday, along with the number of animals that spent their lives inside the shelter. And today, celebration for Dia de los Muertos continues at Madera Hospital. You can see the address on your screen. It's on East Almond Ave in Madera. It's a family-friendly event. The Altars exhibition is open from 12 noon to 10 p.m. and then entertainment runs from 6 to 8. There will be kids activities, bread and hot chocolate, and anyone wearing a Day of the Dead costume will be entered into a raffle. Fresno State hosting its 6th annual Day of Giving today. The fundraiser encourages alumni, friends, faculty, and parents of students to donate to programs that matter the most to them at Fresno State. The event started at 5 this morning. You can donate through the university's website. Coming up on Ksee Midday, the major medical milestone that is being called a giant leap for transplants.
Sharon team.
How far will families go?
Are parents sharing too much?
You post about breastfeeding. You hope your daughter looks back at these posts and is proud of them. But what if she's not?
New Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, today at 4 on Ksee 24.
I am sick of politicians failing to keep us safe. I will always ensure violent criminals serve their full sentences. Unlike Mark Pazin, who let an accused double murderer go free and accidentally released a convicted sex offender, with crime on the rise, I secured nearly $2 billion for law enforcement. Mark cut officers, then quit his job as sheriff to take a cushy Sacramento political gig. I will never quit on keeping your family and our community safe.
I was not confident in my teeth at all before I had braces. I had gaps in my teeth were uneven. Dr. Tom and his team definitely made us feel very comfortable. They did treat me like family. They did treat us like family. I was comfortable to ask them any questions about my teeth, and they would give me an honest answer, and I really appreciated that. I was surprised just of how quick it was. Fast Dental Fresno made it super easy, and in as little as 4 months, I had my dream smile. I would absolutely recommend it.
Are you tired of clean clothes that just don't smell clean? What if your clothes could stay fresh for weeks? Now they can. Downy Unstoppable's in-wash scent boosters keep your laundry smelling fresh way longer than detergent alone. Pour a cap of Downy Unstoppables into your washing machine before each load and enjoy fresher smelling laundry. If you want laundry to smell fresh for weeks, make sure you have Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent boosters. Shop for Downy Unstoppables online, including our lighter scent.
Don't let the insurance company push you around. Get a law firm that can push them around. The team at Jacoby & Myers has gotten our clients up to 10 times the insurance company's original offer. Don't settle for less. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
Inflation, the drought, restrictions on women's health. This year's been tough on the people of our valley and our nation. I'm Jim Costra, and that's why in Congress, I'm fighting to get things done for all of us. passing the Inflation Reduction Act to lower drug costs, securing billions of dollars for water infrastructure and a clean water supply, while fighting for women's reproductive rights. I approve this message because the Valley is our home, and I will never stop working for you.
When pain says, I'm here, I say, so are they. Aleve, who do you take it for?
Rob Bonta announced a new web portal for survivors of sexual assault to track the status of their sexual assault evidence kit, also known as rape kits. Bonta announced the hiring of California's first ever sexual assault evidence outreach coordinator. Together, the new initiative aims to clear the local level backlog of sexual assault evidence kits, ensure the timely processing of sexual assault evidence, and increase transparency for survivors. The new website is kitstatus.doj.ca.gov. Open enrollment for Cover California is underway. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra is in LA for the kickoff on Tuesday. This is the program's 10-year anniversary. Nearly 2 million Californians are currently enrolled. A dozen different companies are offering coverage through the plans. The enrollment website is coveredca.com. Medical technology has taken a leap today after the completion of a heart transplant in Illinois. Hospital officials in Illinois say they have successfully transplanted a heart donated after circulatory death for the first time in the state's history. Officials say the rare transplant was made possible with new technology named Heart in a Box. The device resuscitates a stopped heart and keeps it pumping outside the body until it can be transplanted.
This technology can potentially increase the number of transplants in the United States by 20 to 30%.
Traditionally, heart transplants use hearts from organ donors who have been declared brain dead, but their heart still remains beating. Northwestern Medicine joins just a handful of centers performing DCD heart transplants, but hope to spread the use of the device across the country. That is really cool. All right, coming up on Ksee Midday. It feels like the cost of flying is going up. Well, that's because it is. We have the numbers, including just how much more it costs to fly in and out of Fresno.
Two new IHOP lunch and dinner menu items for twice the goodness, twice the flavor, and twice the choice. Sirloin Salisbury steak and all-natural salmon. Perfect for lunch or dinner. Only at IHOP. Download the app and earn free food with every purchase.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Rudy Salas didn't show up for work almost 450 times, but he did show up to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon and backed reckless spending that made inflation worse. And if Rudy Salas gets to Congress, he'll be a rubber stamp for Biden and Pelosi's agenda, selling out the Central Valley, turning his back on us. Because Rudy Salas is a politician who only looks out for himself.
Chances are we've already met. But when we meet here, this is where our worlds will come together. Cahuilla Health is built for this moment in your life. We are courageous, resilient, ready. Health is our passion, and excellence is always our focus. Because when you come in here, our priority is to get you back out there.
Cahuilla Health, more than medicine, life.
Families are struggling, and David Valadeo is making things worse. Valadeo voted against capping insulin prices, refused COVID relief for families, but his family business took thousands, even opposed raising the minimum wage. David Valadeo, out for himself, but Rudy Salas is putting the Valley first. Salas got overtime pay for farm workers and stood up to drug companies to lower insulin costs. Rudy Salas, lowering costs, standing with us. DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Adam Gray, and I approve this message. John Dwordy doesn't live here and hasn't done a thing to lower gas prices. I voted to stop the tax on diesel for tractors and trucks, and I wrote the bill to suspend the gas tax. I took on Sacramento to protect our water and our jobs. That's why Valley sheriffs and local newspapers support me. I'm the independent Democrat for Congress.
Education matters at KC24, and we're dedicated to bringing you inspirational stories of students finding new ways to strive for success. Watch these Education Matters stories now at yourcentralvalley.com. Just click Education.
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it.
To lay down one's life so that others might live.
And all contributed to the character and to the greatness of America.
May God bless all who served and still do.
Celebrate America's men and women of service November 5th at Clausen Motorsports. Join KC24 and great local partners at the 4th Annual Veterans Motorcycle Run. Ride to protect the sacrifices made for our country and our freedom.
You didn't tell me the handsome doctor was coming.
Looks like the place was bombed.
The lieutenant governor requested you.
I'll be right there.
We left the OR before the surgery was finished.
Those windows were full of jewelry, potentially totaling in the millions.
This blast was intentional.
They're claiming that their son's death is murder.
Come out with it if you're telling me that the CPD is going to leave me out here to dry.
This is some big news. I'm surprised we waited this long to tell you. Starbucks just unveiled its new holiday cup designs. That's right. Take a look. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Never seen anything like this before. Starbucks says the 4 new holiday cup designs are meant to offer comfort and cheer, each like a wrapped gift. The company also announced holiday flavors will be available starting tomorrow. Those flavors include peppermint mocha, toasted white chocolate mocha, and various cold coffee drinks. Your most reliable travel companion could be your smartphone. There are some apps that help with travel options, directions, even jet lag. Rich Jamiro is going to show you some of them.
Every time I travel, I learn something new. On my recent overseas trip, I discovered these apps and tips that can make the process easier, starting with Rome to Rio. This is a helpful app for finding the best way between 2 points, whether it's big cities or local landmarks. See transit options including trains, buses, subways, taxis, walking, and more. It gives you approximate prices and even the recommended and fastest ways to get there. Time Shifter is an app that helps you combat jet lag. Plug in your travel dates and flights, and it generates a plan to help your body adapt to the time differences, telling you when to sleep, nap, drink coffee, and get some bright light. The first plan is free. I can't say it worked perfectly, but it did seem to help. Before you reach your destination, activate Wi-Fi calling. This way you can still send and receive texts and calls for free, even overseas. Now, if international data is not included in your plan and you want to avoid fees entirely, turn off data roaming and purchase an eSIM for your destination. I like Airalo because you can buy and activate in seconds through their app. On the ground, I use the app World Clock Time Widget to put various time zones on my home screen in a digital format so they're easy to understand. To bridge the language barrier, you can use Google Translate or Apple's built-in Translate app. Both will transform text on signs instantly. Just be sure to download a language before you leave. Finally, for currency conversions, you could ask Siri or Google Assistant, but I like the app Ksee. It's simple and straightforward, and you can add a widget for easy conversions.
That was Rich Jamiro, and I'm pretty sure he's done that story before. The national cost of flights increased by over 21%, according to a report from Smart Assets. Airfare increased from $328 to $397 this year. The Central Valley, though, double that, increasing more than 40% in the last year. Fresno had the second highest increase of airfare in the entire country. That is according to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. You can find a breakdown of the new airfare report on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Coming up on KC Midday, Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker has his day in court. The latest on the attack in the home, the Speaker of the House. Next.
Your health matters to you and to KC24. That's why we started Buddy Check 24 back in 1996. I've been honored to meet you, walk with you, and help raise breast cancer awareness. I've listened to your stories of courage and shared important health information. Every month, I'll remind you to call your buddy for life-saving self-exams. Go to yourcentralvalley.com and download our app to receive these alerts. Together, you and Buddy Check 24 will continue to save lives.
Game day has arrived. Call the winning team at College Hunks for your next move or junk removal. The MVPs of your next move.
We make sit-down chicken, stand-up chicken, backyard chicken, oops chicken, lots of time chicken, no time chicken. If there's one thing we know, it's chicken, chicken, and chicken. More choices, more wow, more to love. Tyson.
Let's fill up on the truth. Rudy Salas is the only Democrat who voted against the gas tax increase. Salas voted against increasing the gas tax. That's the truth. Meanwhile, David Valadeo's helping big oil jack up prices at the pump. Just this summer, voting against cracking down on oil company price gouging. And Valadeo's taken over $450,000 from the oil and gas industry. Fed up when you fill up? Thank David Valadeo. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
NASCAR on KC24 is brought to you locally by Stonefield Home.
With violent crime in our communities and the cost of gas, food, and medicine rising, we need a leader in the assembly that we can trust to fight for us, not a quitter like Mark Pazin. While murders in Merced County hit an all-time high, Mark shamefully abandoned his post as sheriff, quitting in the middle of a gang crisis to take a fancy Sacramento political gig. We can't trust a politician like Mark Pazin, who already turned his back on us. The stakes are too high.
Game day has arrived. Call the winning team at College Hunks for your next move or junk removal. The MVPs of your next move.
Now YourCentralValley.com pros who know.
By using third-party financing with competitive programs, your new smile can be affordable and easy. Call Better Life today to see if you qualify.
For more expert advice, go to YourCentralValley.com/pros who know. Local news that matters. This is KC24 News Midday.
Well, welcome back. I'm Ruben Contreras with your midday forecast. We've got some sunshine out there this midday, but don't be fooled. We still have the chance of a few more showers, maybe even a thunderstorm or two in the valley. Let's take you outside first to show you one of our new valley cams. This one in northwest Fresno at Sunmade. It turned in Palm Avenue as traffic's moving along. You see blue skies and you see this layer of cloud cover right in the center of your screen. Those are the clouds developing over the Sierra, creating a little bit of snow, and that was the case late yesterday into last night. This is what it looks like right now at Badger Pass inside Yosemite National Park. Badger Pass relies totally on fresh snow from Mother Nature to open, so they still got a ways to go, but China Peak says there's the possibility of opening in a few weeks, and they report about 4 to 6 inches of snow overnight, and more is on the way from this system. Things are calm now, but some snow is going to redevelop this afternoon, and we could see a few showers this afternoon into this evening. Maybe a thunderstorm or two on the west side of the valley, but we do dry out for the weekend. Look out for areas of fog each morning, but on Sunday a new storm moves in, and that could produce a lot more snow than we picked up in the past 24 hours or so. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. First, for now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Ruben. Here's a look at today's top stories. The search is underway for the man police say attacked a woman with a knife in Visalia. Officers say the attack happened at 1 this morning in a neighborhood near Walnut and Acres. The victim was taken to a local hospital where they are listed in stable condition. Officers say they are looking for this man, 22-year-old Wesley Anderson. Anderson drives a black 2001 Honda Civic. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call Visalia police. Also new at midday, at least 2 people are hurt after a crash that caused a car to slam into the side of a school bus. Happened around 8 this morning near Gates and Corona in Fresno. 2 cars collided in the intersection. 1 car was pushed into the side of that bus, blocking the door. The bus driver and 1 child who was on the bus were not hurt. A man and a woman who were in the car were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. A person in the other vehicle was treated on the scene. A new memorial honoring first responders who lost their lives while serving the city of Fresno was just unveiled this morning in front of City Hall. The memorial contains the names of 30 people, including 17 Fresno police officers and 13 Fresno firefighters. The memorial has been in development since early 2020. It was approved by the City Council last year in a unanimous vote. So we've been following some breaking news this midday. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is addressing the public after his decision to raise interest rates for the 4th time this year, this time again by 3/4 of a point. Let's listen in.
We are moving our policy stance purposefully to a level that will be sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2%. In addition, we're continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive stance of policy for some time. I will have more to say about today's monetary policy actions after briefly reviewing economic developments. The U.S. economy has slowed.
Okay, you just heard Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. For the fourth time, they are raising interest rates again by 0.75 of a point. You did just hear him. They're going to continue to reduce their balance sheet. One thing that the Federal Reserve did was buy a lot of securities during the economic downturn after the pandemic hit, and they're going to continue to stop doing that and actually get rid of some of those securities. We will have more on that on later editions of Ksee 24 News. Well, the man charged with attacking Nancy Pelosi's husband and attempting to kidnap the House Speaker is behind bars after entering a not guilty plea in San Francisco. NBC's Miguel Almaguer was in the courtroom, has the latest.
This morning, investigators revealing David DePape told police at the crime scene this was a suicide mission when he broke into Nancy and Paul Pelosi's home. The new revelations coming as DePape, wearing a jailhouse jumpsuit, his arm in a sling, entered a plea of not guilty. The DA filing a motion for him to be held without bail.
Absolutely, I consider him to be dangerous.
The new court documents say DePape told police nothing would stop him, despite knowing he was being recorded by Ring cameras and Pelosi's 911 call. DePape remained undeterred. The Washington Post, citing 3 sources familiar with how Capitol Police learned of the break-in, now reporting the department was alerted to the attack when an officer saw flashing red lights on cameras they had installed, later rewinding the live feed to see the intruder break into the home, the suspect's public defender.
We're going to be looking into Mr. DePape, his mental state.
As investigators sort through DePape's digital footprint and a journal recovered at the crime scene, the suspect's neighbors say he seemed off.
He seemed exceptionally socially isolated.
Prosecutors also say he told officers he had several other targets, including a local professor, several prominent state and federal politicians, and relatives of those politicians. The attack has been the subject of unfounded right-wing conspiracy theories. Former President Trump adding to the misinformation on a podcast.
The window was broken in, and it was strange that the cops were standing there practically from the moment it all took place.
Law enforcement officials say there is no truth to those theories. A vicious home invasion assault, prosecutors say carried out for political reasons.
That was Miguel Almaguer reporting. Early voting for the midterms has been underway for about 3 weeks now. So far, statewide turnout not looking too strong. According to Political Data Inc., over the last 3 weeks, California saw around 22 million ballots sent to registered voters through the mail. So far, just 2.8 million of those have been sent back. However, reports show compared to this time during the last midterm election back in 2018, statewide turnout is actually higher. However, experts say there are various factors to consider.
In 2018, there were literally more than 1 million fewer voters to start with, and only 7 counties in the state were mailing ballots to all the voters in their county. So now we have all 58 counties mailing ballots to every voter. So it's a larger number of people that can return their ballots by mail. So the fact that it's a lot higher than 2018 really isn't surprising.
In California, Democrats are outnumbered Republicans in the early vote, nearly 2-1. And a reminder, if you've received a ballot, you still have time to send it in. It must be postmarked no later than Election Day, November 8th, and received no later than 1 week after that. You can also drop it off in person at your local elections office or voting center. Well, voters in California are feeling dialysis deja vu. For the 3rd election in a row, there is a push on the ballot to change how the dialysis industry operates. Proposition 29 would implement staffing requirements at all dialysis clinics in the state. If approved, the prop would guarantee every clinic has a physician, nurse practitioner, or physician's assistant on site, or in some cases, virtually available to patients. Supporters also say Prop 29 ensures clinics will be ready for any emergency situations.
Patients can pass out, they can suffer strokes, they can have heart attacks, or bleed out uncontrollably after or during treatments. And so Prop 29 is about getting a doctor on site for dialysis patients or advanced clinician that can handle life or death situations in an emergency. We want to improve the quality of care.
Opposition to the proposition says these requirements are too costly and it will force clinics to close. One patient who relies on the life-saving procedure says concerns over clinic closures are valid and it's not something he wants to risk.
That means the dialysis patients who normally have to rely upon dialysis and their dialysis centers to be there and available for them will have to find other places that are more likely further away from home, more difficult to get to, and some may miss dialysis sessions like I did once, and I ended up in the emergency room. And that's dangerous and scary.
Prop 29 would also require licensed clinics to share infection data to the state. Physicians would need to disclose to the public when they have more than 5% ownership in a clinic, and the state would need to give final approval before any clinic closes or reduces their staff. Russia agreed to resume its participation in a deal brokered by Turkey and the UN to keep grain and other commodities moving out of Ukraine's ports during Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Molly Hunter reports from Kyiv.
The Black Sea Grain Initiative is back on, according to Turkey's president, after pulling out of that strategic grain deal on Saturday. We understand that Russia has now rejoined the deal, according to Turkey. Turkey and the United Nations brokered this deal back in July between Ukraine and Russia when Russia agreed to lift its blockade of the Black Sea. Now, Russia's defense ministry said Wednesday that Kyiv gave them written assurances not to use the route for any military activities. That was part of the initial deal. It was inked back in July. It's expected to last until November 19th. These are cargo ships we're talking about, huge vessels filled with life-saving grain headed for the Middle East and parts of Africa. Ships did leave Monday, Tuesday, and we're expecting, like I said, 8 vessels today. Now in Kyiv, they are prepping for, possibly future power outages if more critical infrastructure is hit by Russian cruise missiles, like it was Monday. And Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of this city, has said they're setting up 1,000 heating stations with generators to charge phones where people can warm up and drink tea as this country heads into a very cold winter. Molly Hunter, NBC News, Kyiv.